All right, Sistas fans, this will be my review or the mid-season finale review for season 6, episode 11, entitled No Turning Back. Going to be completely upfront and honest. This episode was drier than a biscuit from Popeyes. Aside from a couple of moments where I got in some legit laughter, the women looking fine as I don't know what, and of course the last few minutes of the episode. Without the last bit where Karen approaches the law firm, this episode will be nothing to write home about. So while the score might seem high to a lot of people, trust me, a lot of people felt I was too generous with the episode. I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 10. Yeah, I know that seems very wow, I cannot talk tonight. Generous, because I gave episode 9 a 4, and then episode 10 a 3, and then I give this one a 4.5. Yeah, this was skippable. I think at least the first 47, what was it? It was like 9:47 before things really picked up. If I remember correctly, 9:47 is around the time where Karen called Zach and then Fatima picked up the phone. But yeah, we're going to blitz through the first portion of this episode just to let you know. I think by the time we get to the 4-minute mark in the video, I'll already be at the point where we talk about Zach and whatnot. So before moving forward, please take a moment and show this channel some support. Hit the subscribe button. We are closing in on 2,000 subscribers. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Let's aim for 100 likes. I think we can do that easily. And links to my social media platforms are going to be in the description box below. And also let me know what your score for the episode was and what did you think of it? What was your favorite part? And let's get into it. Now, first things first, we're going to talk about the Maurice, Calvin, and Sabrina stuff. Trash. I cannot tell you how annoying it was. We had at least 1, 2, 3 different times where we had to go to these characters, and I feel like the only thing they said the entire time was, Maurice, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I went to the DA, and I'm going to give myself up in order to save Sabrina. You can't do that. That's a bad idea. It's too late. It's done. I'm waiting for them to call now. That's literally the entire plot for these characters. Maurice, Calvin comes in and is like, hey, because remember he had left Sabrina's earlier that morning. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to drop off the rent before I go to work. And then he just chews out Maurice for being stupid, for doing what he did. He calls Sabrina, and Sabrina says she's coming over. But she also calls Danny to say, hey, sorry I can't make it to Karen's this morning. There's something that came up. And, of course, Danny's dealing with the Preston thing, so neither of them are going to visit Karen that morning. Which begs the question of, if Danny and Sabrina really did go to check on Karen, would that have actually changed things in terms of how events would have unfolded at the end of the episode? So from there, Sabrina comes over, and let me just say, holy crap. Novi Brown in that orange outfit. I don't know if it was because of the way her hair was, the heels, the way she carried herself as she came into the apartment, but my goodness. No, Sabrina won the episode. Don't get me wrong. Andy in her green, power suit for work, she looked good in that. Hell, Danny looked fine as I don't know what in her red robe. And as much as the hell she was raised in this episode, I'd say Karen looked amazing in her outfit. Fatima rocking the blue. Even Pam looking like a little snowman in that hazmat suit. But Sabrina just took my breath away. Holy crap. Wow. I mean, that look alone was like 2 points for the episode for me. But she comes over there, and folks, it's just the same thing. She finds out what Maurice did, and it's like, Q did this. Why are you willing to go down for him to use? But it's to get you off. And I'm just thinking, Maurice, if you're this dead set to go to jail, why did you even call harassing people to get you out? There was no reason to bail you out. Because if nothing else, that put Sabrina in the hole with Bio. And now, okay. So they end up going to the station and talk with the DA, because if I remember correctly, Sabrina said that she had called, I believe, Michael. That's the name of the lawyer that Bio, teamed them up with to get him off. And he even said, Maurice, don't do it. That's pretty dumb. It's going to hurt your case. But he decides to do it anyway. And like you said, it's too late. So he goes down there, and Sabrina and Calvin decide to go with him too. They run into Logan, and they're trying to tell Maurice, look, our lawyer is coming. Don't do anything. But what does Maurice do? He turns himself in. The only thing that made this scene, aside from Sabrina's dress, was, see you at the crossroads, and Logan was like, get your ass back here. That was funny. That was it. That was the only reason I actually gave a crap about this stuff. But other than that, it just ate up precious episode time. Speaking of episode time that was wasted, holy crap. Folks, let me just say this much. While I did enjoy some of the comedic moments with Preston, Danny, and Zach, this took up way more of the episode than I cared for. But I will say this much. I would have rather sat through 30 minutes of Preston being high than the constant cutaways to the Maurice repetitiveness or Karen just being bitchy over the phone. But this was just another example of padding out the runtime. Now, it's like I mentioned in the video where I talked about the sneak peek. The main reason I actually cared was the fact that we haven't seen Zach over at Danny's place since, she let Karen and Zach come over to talk things out. I don't love you no more. I don't want to be with you no more. So to actually see DeVal in the scene with Trinity and Mignon in a comedic fashion, it was worth it. Yes, like I said, it ate up precious episode time. But you could tell the actors are kind of just freestyling here. I mean, from Preston with that random, wave of his hand. And I even posted on Twitter, the way Preston keeps waving his hand around, it reminds me of the Disney Channel stars with the magic wand making the Mickey Mouse logo. And then from there, Preston saying the N-word. Remember, Trinity is part black in real life. Preston is all white. So it's him saying the N-word, don't trip. But the fact that we just had the Alabama brawl, I was thinking yo, Zach is going to pull a folding chair out of nowhere and beat it across Preston's head. The one thing that really made this scene for me was that wink. Every time somebody mentioned coffee, he's like, now you remember how I like mine, strong and black. And then he gave that random wink. It was kind of, if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when Rocket Raccoon does that wink and leaves his mouth wide open, that's literally what Preston was doing. And I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, like I said, this just went on a bit way too long, from him trying to lock the oven or, calling Danny the B word. And she's like, what'd you say? And it got to the point where Zach's like, look, I got way too much going on. I got some more stops to make. I got to bounce. But like I said, you could tell as cringe as it was, you could tell the actors were having a good time. So that's what kind of made it worth it. Like I said, we've seen worse in the show. All right. So I'll give this scene props for what it was. All right. So from there, we go over to, damn, I just talked about at least 22 minutes of the episode right there. All right. Now we go over to, oh yeah, the salon. I'm sorry. So Aaron, Pam, and the clients that are helping out are making pretty good progress cleaning up the salon. And, they're bringing out bags, burnt objects out and what. It just looks like it's almost a complete total loss aside from the building. And first of all, Pam, why are you wearing heels to clean up the salon? I'm not a woman, clearly, so I don't wear heels, clearly. But something tells me that wearing high-heeled shoes isn't the best footwear for this kind of job. And on top of that, you're wearing open-toed shoes, which, again, you're going into a burned building. I don't think it's safe to have, your feet exposed like that, because who knows if you might cut them on something. I don't know, but well, whatever. But then she kind of spruced up the damn hazmat suit by having a belt on the outside. I don't know. She was cute. Like I said, I don't agree with the fashion choices she made for the actual labor she was doing, but it was cute. It's Pam. She's adorable in small doses, and it just so happens that she's small. So, she's kind of complaining with Aaron about the situation at hand. She's like, let me supervise. Then Zach pulls up. Look, I mentioned this online as well. Zach was pretty much like Stan Lee. You know how in the MCU film, Stan Lee would just pop up out of nowhere? That was literally, Zach was on the move this episode. What? First to Danny's place, then to the salon, then to the law firm. So it's a very short scene, and Zach pretty much stayed true to his word. Like, look, I'm just going to stop by, drop off the check, and I'm going. He pretty much did just that, kind of flaunting it at Aaron's face, like, hey, if Karen needs more, just know she can, just tell her she can call me. So Zach goes to the law firm. So Karen actually shows up to the salon, and Pam tries to hand off the check. I mean, at first she's really impressed by the progress everybody's making with the cleaning and whatnot. So, like I said, in relation to the last episode, I did think it was pretty nice to see how many of Karen's clients answered the call to help out with the salon. So it shows that even though Karen isn't the most likable character, at least her clients give a damn about her. So that's pretty cool. And we see some men there too. So it's like I said, some of the male people helping to clean, they might not be clients, but maybe they're like, the boyfriend, husband, siblings, or friends of some clients. And maybe those who know about Karen in the salon are like, hey, we're going to help out. And well, hey, I know the comparison is kind of different, but just like the Alabama brawl, when one brother was in trouble, a bunch of the community came together to help out. I feel like the same thing can apply here. So I just love the community aspect of it. But in any case, Karen does not want that check. She straight up rips it in half and says, I'm going to call Zach right now. She calls, he ignores it. Calls again, Fatima picks up. But we'll get to that in just a moment. So at the law firm, we see Andy helping out, I believe, a client or, pointing, a customer in the right direction. Gary and Hayden roll up for their 2-minute cameo in the episode, which was kind of weird. They just showed up for no reason. But basically, Gary's like, I think you owe me an apology. Andy's like, yeah, I don't have time for this. So she bounces. Hayden is chuckling. And I'm like, bruh, your wife literally packed up and left you this morning. You really don't have the room to kind of poke fun. And honestly, the kind of brotherly bickering between Gary and Hayden, while it's like, oh, you want to, clown me? Let's talk about you. I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather see them having scenes like this than him constantly going after Andy. So then Zach rolls up out of nowhere and, he greets Gary like, what's up, bruh? And then Hayden's like, oh, this dude here is like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then Zach's like, I got my own shit to do. See ya. And then the one thing that has me about this scene is like when Gary's looking at Hayden like, wait, what's that about? And I'm like, bro, Gary, don't you know the beef between these two? I mean, what the hell? But in any case, Zach goes into Fatima's office at work. She's talking with Kevin Masterson, who's the attorney who's going to try to help out with the custody battle. Now, Zach notices the friendly nature between the two, and he kind of mocks Kevin's laugh when he comes to the office. And then when he tries to shake his hand, Kevin just ignores it. And Zach's like, oh, okay. But basically, he explains the situation like, typically it's difficult for fathers to maintain or get any sort of custody, especially with you just so recently learning that you even have a child in the first place. But you and Fatima went over there to inspect things, and you saw how bad it was. And turns out, one of the main things that could be used to help out Zach in this scenario is one of the neighbors, the elderly woman in the window, said that she claimed social services, yet there were no records of those calls. If they can get some sort of proof of that or get the woman to testify, that would help out. And just like with getting the video footage at the cafe to see if Zach and Karen really did or didn't do anything, Fatima apparently found out the name of the old woman and knows her first, last name, apartment building, and number on the door. So yeah, Fatima don't play. So after that, Zach's, Kevin leaves the room and Zach is suspicious of him, kind of like Paul. And to be honest, it's like, who knows? But in any case, the conversation switches to, oh, wait, you want full custody? And it's like, yeah, you saw how he was living. Now Fatima wants, to get Michael out of there. But here's the thing, though. She didn't know that, he was trying to get full custody. Now, some people during the live stream were like, well, I don't know, Zach could have told her that. But, look, let me just put it this way. I can see both sides of this. It does feel like a shocker. I think my favorite bit of Fatima during this particular scene was that, wait, I thought you were just going to kind of get like half or partial custody and maybe, help out trying to get Heather back on her feet because of the way she's living. And to be 100% honest, I agree with that statement. Now, let me break that down. First of all, this makes the most sense. Focus on the child that for a fact DNA-wise is yours. instead of handing checks over to Karen to fix that salon, try to help out Heather. Now, I'm not saying that he has to give her hundreds and thousands of dollars or anything, but you know what? Try to help her out, get, herself together, because it's your son. Make sure he's in a good, living environment, stable living environment, has food and everything. But at the same time, establish some boundaries and ground rules. Like, Heather, I'm not going to move you and our son into a better apartment if you're going to have all these random men walking in through and our child is being treated this way or that way. He's not being, he's not properly developing. It's like Heather said, he's kind of slow. Well, maybe he's not exactly, quote unquote, and I hope this is the correct socially accepted term today, remedial or anything, but it's because he hasn't had anybody to help him with those developmental skills, like being potty trained, talking with him, interacting with him so he can learn how to talk. And I really think those things could go a long way. So if Zach sat down and established these rules, then him giving money to Heather makes a lot of sense. And like I said, a hell of a lot more sense than giving money to Karen to fix up a salon. And I don't even think it has to do with the child. It's because he feels some sort of guilt towards her, which I feel is complete bull crap. Now, Zach even tells Fatima, look, this is a lot, but you can't say that you're going to hold me down and whatnot and then act some sort of way when things kind of, go south. And Fatima even says, well, this isn't how I thought things would play out. And I'm like, well, one, communicate how you think things are going to play out. Two, Zach, be honest, let her know up front whether or not you were trying to get full custody. Now, in Fatima's defense there, yeah, Zach never said anything. She just assumed it would be partial custody. And if Zach wasn't too busy running and crying over Karen, then maybe they could have had that conversation. But remember, in the timeline of the show, Zach went from seeing how his son was living to finding out Karen was dead. Yeah, that's a lot. So they really didn't have a lot of time to kind of slow things down and talk it out. Truth be told, if Fatima didn't just randomly decide to get up in the middle of the night to go over to Karen's apartment, then maybe when Zach woke up from, Roxy, they could have had that conversation. But yeah, Zach gave her a fair out. I was like, look, I want to get full custody of my son. If we got to adjust, we got to adjust. But just know that, if this is too much for you, let me know right now. And it feels like Fatima is just refusing to let Zach go. Yes, I know what happens in Zatima season 2B, but remember that is before the events of Sistas season 6. Just throwing that out there. But in any case, it's just one of those situations where Zach is giving her an out, but she refuses to take it. Don't say you're going to hold him down, but then you start to let go when stuff gets shaky. But at the same time, yeah, Zach has a lot of baggage. But like I said, it's not like Zach is guilt tripping her. He's letting her know, look, this is my son. I want to get full custody. If this is too much, let me know. Just let me know. And if you want out, then no. Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. So in the midst of their conversation, Andy comes in because remember she's trying to avoid Gary. So she's sitting up in the office. And I always think it's funny because she's being intrusive in these scenes. I'm like, damn it, Andy. Why do you got to do this? We're having a Zatima moment, yet you got to pop in and make us remember that it's an episode of Sistas. So in any case, going back to what I was saying before, at the salon, Karen called Zach and Zach ignored the phone call. Then from there, Fatima, and this is the thing though, just like in the early season 5, remember when she was in the hospital and assumed that Fatima called Aaron to let her know about, where she was? She answered the phone against Zach's wishes and got cussed out and got mad. What did Fatima do? She took Zach's phone and answered it, and they pretty much went back and forth about, I'm going to shoot you if you come over there again. Oh, well, you know where I'm at now. Come on over. And Zach is trying to stop things from escalating. Aaron is trying to stop Karen. And then she's like, I'm about to go over there. So Andy's freaking out. And after that, Pam is like, Aaron, stop her. I mean, look. Karen just kept shoving and whatnot. I mean, what was he supposed to do? So she leaves. Then Andy gets a phone call, and she doesn't know what to do. And hell, Zach's like, don't answer it. Karen's like, Fatima's like, answer it. And then some people are like, Andy's a coward. What happened to that 9 to 5 attitude? Yeah, that's Andy's, Andy's the boss of Fatima. What is she cowering in fear for because Fatima's like, answer the phone? Something you gotta give Andy some credit for. She was front and center to the confrontation that went down between Karen and Fatima the night before at Karen's apartment. She now has a front row seat to that phone conversation between Karen and Fatima, and she knows both of them don't play. So when her phone rings and she doesn't want to answer it, and then Fatima's like, pick it up, Andy is not going to say, I'm your boss. She's going to be cowering in fear because she knows some shit's about to pop off. So yeah, those might say Andy needs to have a backbone. I can understand her fear. It's like watching Dragon Ball, and it's like, man, Gohan, he needs to fight back. Nappa and Vegeta, I would be fighting if I were him. Bro was only like 4 years old, fighting against these monster aliens who was killing his, dad's friends and whatnot right in front of his eyes. He has every right to be afraid. I feel the same way about Andy. Job titles mean nothing because, hell, remember season 3 when Karen came over to the law firm and her and Fatima got into it? She was right there for that. Andy knows these two bombs are about to blow up in the same place. She was afraid. So in any case, she answers the phone and then demands that Andy shows an email to her or Fatima. And then she goes off because, Andy's just trying to calm her down. It's like, what kind of friend are you? Hangs up. Fatima's like, I overheard. What does she want us to see? Hang on. I know your email because remember, that's the secretary, Andy's assistant. So she knows how to access the email. And apparently it's an email detailing that it is actually Zach's child that she's carrying, which there are so many reasons that we're just like, what in the world is going on? First of all, how would she even know if it's Zach's child without the DNA or his DNA? First, I guess, people will point at is, well, remember when Fatima swabbed Michael and Zach in Zatima season 1? Perhaps the DNA from that test was from the same lab that Karen got her results from. And as a result, that's why it's like, oh, it's Zach's baby. Another thing is, this could be the paperwork that Karen was talking about over the phone with the doctor in episode 10, saying, oh, I don't think I grabbed my copy when I was at the doctor's office. And she was like, oh, you don't have to email it to me. I'll come by and pick it up. And if that's the case, how in the world would she have this email? Folks, Karen was pissed off. Remember that over the phone, she's like, you know what, Zach? I don't want anything from you. I don't need you. And I'll take care of this baby by myself. And Zach's like, oh, okay. What? That's all you got to say? And it's like, what the hell is he supposed to say? The funniest bit of this is like, thank you. Have a good day. And then he got off the phone. Now, it's one of those things where it's like, Karen is like, leave me alone. Don't bother me anymore. Stop gaslighting me. And then when Zach doesn't respond, like, trying to fight to stay in her life, then she gets all agitated. So I figured that she called the doctor and asked for the results to be sent to her via email. And then from there, she sent it over to Andy and then wanted Andy to show Fatima. But I'm going to be honest here. Karen has a terrible track record of being honest. This could just be a fake email. Guys, I don't know. I just feel like the results are just bogus. Not to mention, this is strangely similar to Zatima, where Fatima gets a text message from a phone with an email with the results of a DNA test, and it turns out Zach is the father. This just seems way too copy and paste. But then again, Tyler has done it before with these two shows. So from there, damn, that's pretty much the episode. Oh yeah, there's a little bit at the very end where Karen shows up, and strangely enough, the law firm seems empty. She talks to someone who we don't actually see on screen. I can guess this is some sort of receptionist, like, oh hey, how are you? And then she turns the corner, and well, Andy rushes to stop her from doing something drastic. But we see that she has the white boots on, which we know is a clear indicator that she is there to raise some hell. Fatima, warps out of thin air, and Andy's like, what are you doing here, Karen? I'm here to do this. Pulls out her gun, fires a bullet. Fatima goes down. Andy's like, oh my God, runs over. And I ain't gonna lie, based off how Karen was looking, I'm like, Lord, is she gonna shoot Andy too? And that's the end of the episode. Folks, Fatima's dead. And that can mean only one thing. We ain't getting no Zatima season 3. Nah, I'm just playing. She ain't dead. Seriously, if you really think Fatima is dead or got shot, something wrong with you. It's clearly not real. Episode 12 is called Daydreams. Really, seriously, it's called Daydreams. That's the name of the episode. But yeah, that's all I got. If you watch The Oval, when Priscilla pulled out a gun and shot Victoria, but then we learned that it was a daydream, same rules apply here. But with that being said, that's all I have to say for the episode. Seriously, if not for the whole email with the DNA results and Fatima getting shot at the end, this episode will be nothing to write home about. It really wouldn't. So if you haven't watched the episode, you don't need to. I would suggest watching maybe the last... when did the email come into play? Around the 35-minute mark. Yeah, watch the last 5 minutes, and you can cut out 2 minutes of that because it's focused on no Maurice bullcrap. So there's at least maybe 3 to 5 minutes of this episode worth watching. Yeah, no turning back indeed. All right, well, thanks again for tuning into my review. This will be the last episode review until October, but don't fret. Remember, Zatima comes on August 24th. I will be reviewing the show on this channel, just like House of Pain when it returns next week. Let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments section below. I know a lot of people do not agree with my episode score for 4.5, and I'll catch you in the next video.